let's get right into it. The story of the first couple weeks of the NBA season, in your estimation, would be what, Chris?
Oh, wow. A few storylines. How is the Westbrook Harden experiment working out? LeBron, Mr. Triple-Double King. I think those, are two storylines. And, of course, Golden State Warriors with being hit with so many injuries.
I mean, I cannot believe they are. Obviously there's a reason why, but 2-9, Chris, that is unbelievable. And open up your new facility with these first couple of weeks, they must be beside themselves right now.
Yeah, and first of all, I picked them not to make the playoffs this year, so I didn't have high expectations for them without Klay Thompson. I don't think that they had enough, and in the West is tough. But I also felt that this would just be a year that they just, take off, get some rest, and that next year with that same team, they can come back and be very dominant. But no one expected to see these injuries. But, man, you can't, in my opinion, you can't win without Klay, the most underrated player in the game, because he plays with such a great player. Defensively, he guards the best players. Offensively, he keeps it hot even when he's in a streak. And I just felt you can't keep that going. And so when you look at what the Lakers have done, and even with Dwight Howard, how he's been playing, AD, and of course LeBron, what he's been doing, it's just incredible. And I really like seeing the body language and the energy of the Lakers as well. You can tell that they're playing for something, and hopefully I have Denver tonight, and I want to see Denver take that up, because I think that Denver should have the expectations that we put on other teams. Remember how we said that Lob City should win more, and we said other teams. Well, Denver, we're letting off the hook because of the market they're in, but they should be that team on the radar as well with that body language. But I tell you what, it's been a fun season so far, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, the Nuggets have won 7 of their first 10. They're taking on the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Trae Young lit them up the other night, though. Holy crap, that kid is really balling right now, right?
How about Trae Young? I mean, so many people said, well, he's not this, he's not that, and they got to double team him late in his college career, and right now he's showing us that he's part of the new NBA. The new NBA, they're just flamethrowers out there, and he's fun. He's fun to watch. And I tell you what, he is an excellent offensive player, and he can shoot the three from anywhere. But what I'm impressed about is that he's just as good of a passer. I think he's going to lead the league in assists in a couple of years, and he's fun to watch.
Have you ever given a 5-second long stare down at a bench after making a shot or a dunk, Chris? Have you ever done that, what he did the other night?
No, but I may have done that just period. I didn't even have to score, but just looked at the bench and dared somebody to get up because I had energy. I was ready to go.
Right.
But
that was a stare.
No, but I tell you what, in this new league, man, that's and this is the thing too, and this is something for the fans to watch. It's really fun.
Okay, great.
Whenever a player gets the ball in a corner and he looks back at the bench, I mean, you see this maybe once a game, because the bench is talking so much junk to him while he's shooting the ball. So you got to realize guys can stand up, guys can go, or that's off, or no, let him shoot all day. Like, guys are really saying a lot of stuff that we can't hear, and I gave you nice versions of it. And so when you hit that out the corner and you feel like you have 7 other defenders behind you, because you can't see them, then you got to let them know, I heard you, and hopefully you saw what I just did to you.
Well, it's funny, Chris, as you were telling that story, we were showing the Trae Young shot over and over again. I do see a couple of Gabby Denver Nuggets during that shot. I did see some lip flap from their bench.
Oh, yeah. Anybody that's standing up, especially like the guys in the corner, if it's 2 or 3 guys standing up, you can always tell that they are the ones. And trust me, that's their job. Because I've seen them make a lot of guys miss shots or get in their heads. But the only thing is, if you have a cold-blooded killer. Now, one thing is funny is when Larry Bird played against the Atlanta Hawks, they weren't, I think he had 60 in the game. They weren't behind him yelling at him. They were behind him giving each other 5, like, I can't believe he's doing this. And so, and I would have fined all of them, even though I would agree with them on the bench. I would have fined all of them. But, yeah, you get a lot of reactions from the bench, from the corner 3. That's why it's so much fun.
Chris Webber here on the Rich Eisen Show. I got another story for you. This certainly nobody saw coming. How about the 8-3 Toronto Raptors? How about that, Chris?
How about that? I think that.
What do you think? Is that sustainable? What do you think here?
Well, it's the East Coast. I don't know if it's sustainable at that level, but I do think them winning is sustainable, especially when you have guys that like Van Vliet and others that have already proven that they're some of the toughest guys in the league. Siakam, what he's done after signing that max extension, raising his game to a level, and you have to give, Coach Nick Nurse a lot of credit. One, because he gives the previous regime a lot of credit for setting the tone there defensively, but he holds the guy to a high standard. And again, the East has something left to be desired with competition from 1 through 8. But I do expect Toronto. There's no reason they shouldn't be a top 4 team. And what they've done on the West Coast playing is just so impressive to me, getting big wins on the road. And so, man, they're doing their thing. You got to give them a lot of credit.
Chris Webber here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, and then you've got, again, Brooklyn and Denver tonight at in Denver. Is that you and Marv? You and Marvelous in that game tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with the boys tonight.
Please send him my best. Gosh,
I will.
Honestly, I do this job because, in part, of him. I tell him that every time, and I probably embarrass him every single time I do it. And then the first part of the double header is Dallas at New York. I don't care. I'll just come out and say it. I think what this is obvious. What okey doke that's being run on Fizdale here. I don't think it's fair at all to lay a 2-9 start at this man's feet when they go over in free agency. And Fizdale, in my mind, was the guy that gave the Knicks any amount of hope of attracting anybody in free agency. I put that at your feet and ask you if I'm accurate.
Yeah, you're 100% accurate. When I started to hear that Fizdale was being blamed, the first thing I thought of was, that's why if I could have talked to him, I would have told him, don't take the job. You know, my father used to say, one mess up kills a million data boys, you know, and so it's funny how the whole narrative has changed when you had guys like LeBron and D-Wade and other guys that he helped, I won't say develop, but he was that assistant coach to just really vouching for him. And, you know, when players really like a coach, especially one that's demanding, it speaks a lot to their communication, their passion, the fact that they don't take it personal. And so now that the narrative has changed, it's just it's something really when I heard it, I was like, I know this isn't real. They're just putting this out here to get feelers to see the response. But I think it's unfair to Fizdale, and you feel bad for that, because in this league, you know, you can either be a coach that keeps getting chances and be a okay coach your whole time, but maybe be part of some groups that keeps you around, or you could have a lot of potential, have that one shot, and because it's not a stable environment, never get another shot. I don't think he'll be in that group, but you just never know. You just never know.
So what do we expect out of Paul George, who's returning tonight while you are on the air? What do you got for me on this front?
Oh, man, what do I expect out of Paul George? I expect defense. I expect him to have fun. I think he's in an environment where we didn't build a package for this last week, but I call them the young hyenas because the Clippers, they don't have big guys. They don't have, you know, overly strong guys or all this other stuff, but they hunt in packs and they have the energy. And we just hear them laughing and whooping up and causing hysteria wherever they go. And they take the food of the larger predators like lions and others because they're in groups. And so I think he's going to be part of that pack. And we're going to see one of the best defensive teams, especially perimeter-wise, that we've seen. And that's why I trust the Clippers from Doc Rivers, and trust means to go out and play as hard as you can, give it all you got, and have an honest chance, because I trust their effort every night. I mean, this is a team that could probably shoot under 40% in a big game and still maybe win by 10 or 12 because of their defensive intensity. So that's why I believe them. Not necessarily for anything sexy, and I know Kawhi comes over and he's great, but if he didn't play defense the way that he did, Beverly didn't play, Montrezl Harrell didn't play defense, Lou coming off the bench, to me, they have the perfect storm of humble personalities that are aggressive at the same time, and then guys who know their role and encourage others to do their role. Clippers are really fun to watch.
Then again, it's on a back end of a back-to-back, and so far we've seen Kawhi load managed during those spots, so I'm assuming we might see them both tonight. Were you ever load managed, Chris Webber?
You know, that's such a tricky discussion. I wasn't, and I feel that even though I've had a really great long career, I feel that it would have been improved with load management, but that's so many factors. For instance, load management could also be practice. Like I played in the era where, unfortunately, practice, and we all made fun of AI for saying this, but practice was just as important as the games, and that's not true. It's just not true, especially when you're a professional. So let's just take, I don't know, a quarterback. and let's say it's a veteran quarterback, we didn't care about Drew Brees practicing when he came back and said, no, my finger's healthy. I didn't throw this much this week, but don't worry. Because he knows those plays. Drew Brees is not going to get better from practice. He's going to get better in the film room. He's going to get better sitting down, listening, and seeing what the game plan is. But out there physically exerting and injuries and things like that, a 3-hour practice of pressing, I mean, coaching was really antiquated in our style in the last 20 years, and I do think we have to look at data. However, the tickets, the season holders, the season ticket holders, the TV audience, we deserve to see these games. And so I think there's a way with scheduling, especially on national TV night. The NBA can control the schedule and say no back-to-backs if you have an ESPN game on Wednesday, no back-to-backs if you have a Turner game on Wednesday I'm on Thursday, because you want these players to play. So if it is a load management, I think that the league can help by lightening the load so that you don't have to lighten the load on game nights. They've already done that by taking away so many back-to-backs. They've done that by lengthening the time that you come back after All-Star games. So the league is doing everything they can, and now I think they need to address that with the national TV schedule. Hey, let's just not have the Clippers play Wednesday and Thursday back-to-back so ESPN can get their audience and Turner can get their audience. You know what I mean? There's ways to go about it, and I hope that we'll address it, and all the fans will be better and happier for it.
What do you think, Chris Webber, though, of the theory that Earl Watson put out on Twitter and LeBron echoed in a conversation with Yahoo that the load management really needs to be managed at the AAU level, that youth travel basketball teams are playing 12 to 15 games a weekend, as Watson tweeted out, to keep the monthly fees validated, that's where the toll of playing basketball starts and eventually manifests itself in the NBA. What do you think of that idea, Chris?
I think they're 100% correct. And that's why the NBA is having to pay the price for it. And that's why I'm saying the NBA should worry about the schedule and this and that, because until we go back and get them, just let me just say this to parents out there, because I'm a parent. I get how tough it is to be a parent. I get how you want your kids to be in the best environment. But let me tell you guys something. There's no reason that your child should be playing 3 games a day. They're not getting better. It's no reason. A good coach wouldn't want kids to play 3 times a day. Not 3 soccer games a day, not 3 baseball games a day, maybe a double header here and there for baseball. But you don't go every day. That's the new way. So parents need to understand about load management for their kids. I understand everybody wants their kid to be a top 5 or, be in this ranking, but if you got game, you got game. And 3 games a day means nothing compared to 1 really good game a day. And I agree with them. You have to lighten the load. That's why we're seeing injuries being tracked at the NBA that we haven't had at this volume before, because even if a guy doesn't play past his sophomore year, guess what? He's coming into the league as if he's had 4 NBA seasons under his belt, because he's playing that many games. And so LeBron, Earl Watson, they live it. They are so right about it, and I think we have to address that. But before, because like they said, it's about money, so that's going to be a slippery slope. So before we do, I think we have to address it from top to bottom, and then hopefully go back and make sure we change the way that we allow kids to play in sports, and hopefully that's with some type of governing body that has sense and that's not all about the money.
Before I let you go, Chris Webber, let's move up one level to the college level. Look who's 2-0 in Ann Arbor in his first 2 games as head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. That would be one Juwan Howard. He's 2-0. When are you making an appearance at Chrysler Arena?
How long has he been coaching? 2 months? Right. I bet he is 0 2 months asleep, because I've been texting him, and nothing's good enough, and everything's great. He loves the kids there. And,
okay, that's great.
The first game, we text about him having a big lead and then losing the lead, and I'm like, that's perfect. Now you can beat him up in practice and say this. It's so fun watching him live his dream, evolve as a coach, and do such a great job. And I definitely will be there to support my boy very soon.
Do you have a date in mind? You've got one circled? Or?
I don't. But Juwan and I talk and text constantly.
Okay.
And so that's something that's definitely, I'm definitely going to support him. And I think he even understands that I may have to come support us beating Ohio State first in football, and then continue right over there to him. But it's fun watching him, and also, letting him establish and the culture there and do his thing. I really believe that this is about the long run. It's not about any short-sightedness of me hurrying up and do this and that. I really want him to establish what he has there and be comfortable and get his guys going like they want to. And hopefully I could just come in and just have some fun and watch. So, Rich, I'm looking I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to.
I look forward to seeing you there, too. And before Ohio State in football, it's Michigan State this very weekend. And I don't mean, again, Izzo. By the way, Izzo's on my show tomorrow. But we got Michigan State this weekend. You know all about that rivalry personally, Chris Webber.
Oh, yeah. I do. And even from being a fan growing up in Michigan, I remember the Blake Ezors, and I remember Andre Rison when he started point guard over Steve Smith for the basketball team, and he was all Big Ten, and then he was all Big Ten receiver. So I'm a big Michigan fan. I am Michigan Go Blue, and I have been a Michigan State fan and watching growing up there. And so, I think we'll handle our business there, and we got bigger fish to fry. Not overlooking them, but we got some big fish to fry, and so we know we got to take care of business this weekend so that we can get to our bigger goals.
C-Web, tell everyone where they can pre-order your book that's coming out this fall, correct? Coming out in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. Actually, the date has been changed to February 4th.
Okay.
It is on Amazon. It is right now. You can get it. You can pre-order on Amazon, but it'll be everywhere that you can order books from Barnes and Nobles, airports, everything like that. And I'm really, really excited about it. And I think for places that I played, like in Michigan, Sacramento, Detroit, even other places, Golden State, that hopefully it really represents those places well, my time there, and how just the people that have been blessings in my life that have really encouraged me, sustained me, and kept me going. Hopefully they'll see my appreciation through this book.
All right, Chris, I say hello. Our caller, Jeff in Detroit, said, tell him what up, dog. So I'm telling you that. And then, of course, my wife would kill me if I didn't send her best to you, too, Chris Webber.
Well, that's the only reason why I do your show is because of her. And tell the other guys that, what up, doe.
You got it. Take care, Chris. Enjoy the game tonight with Marv. That's Brooklyn and Denver tonight on TNT at 10:30 p.m. Eastern tip right after Dallas and New York. Porzingis in Madison Square Garden.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.